spawning up here in the top corner. He is, for Good Game Gaming's, Dream. And his opponent, down here in the bottom, he is representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming. He is Rogue. So I think one of the most important things about a long series like this is kind of just making sure that you don't throw the kitchen sink at your opponent early on. Because remember, they are paid by the map. So if you just do the same thing over and over again, you're going to get crushed. If you cheese over and over again, you're going to get crushed, as I think Rogue especially is very adept at crushing Terran cheeses. And it looks like right now we're going to see pretty much a standard openings from both sides, as Dream will get this racks up at a normal time, only going for 1 gas, so there won't be a faster factory. But the fact that he did throw down that reactor does mean that we have the potential to be going up to a 2-1-1. Now, it's a little bit early to say that. He might just be throwing down the factory because of the positioning, but it's always fun to kind of think about when they get that early reactor. It's very risky, I'd like to say, because if Rogue was going for some sort of early pull, if he was trying to be aggressive, then that would mean that you have no units to defend. Let's see. There you go. Sorry, just fixing some stuff up. Good to go, as we do have... Okay, we're going to see Dream going to be going straight into Marine production with that. But it's kind of hard to say exactly what he's going to be going into behind it. We don't see kind of that third CC opening. Okay. I think I've got it now, since I did see the starport going down. It is most likely going to be some semblance of a Hellbat timing. And the reason I say that is because he is still producing Marines as that starport finishes. So that does mean, yeah, there you go. That is pretty much the bog standard Hellion opening into the attack. So Rogue, right now, what he has to do is he has to scout this. He has to know what's going on, and he has to throw down, hopefully, some units here soon. Queens are very good at deflecting once you kill the medevac, but at the same time, the Marines in the backfield are the killers here. So you need to get those Marines, and you need to get the Spore Crawler down, or Spine Crawler rather. And there you go. Good start for Rogue to get this done. All right, so the first Overlord is going to go down. The Hellbats do morph right on the edge of the creep. Another big round of Lings, but he is now supply blocked for just another couple of seconds. A beautiful concave up on the ramp, just going to be preventing a lot of that Hellbat damage, but Dream is not going to let any of these Hellbats die. On the other side of the map, though, a big run by is crushing through the natural mineral line, and that's going to take a lot of power away from this push. I think the biggest thing right now is that you do have the Hellions kind of just dancing around. Those two in the main base still causing a lot of issue. The Queen's going down as well. That's actually a pretty nice pickoff, all things considered. If you can get this base, that would be the gold standard here, as now he can just morph back into Hellions and retreat if he so chooses. So now this does put a little bit of a timer on Rogue. Not so much a timer, but just he's going to be a little bit behind because he still doesn't have that third hatchery back up. That's why he's kind of forced into this position where he's got to send the Zerglings across the map, just deny mining on that natural base for as long as humanly possible. He's not dead by any stretch of the imagination, and actually, taking a look at the worker count, he's actually ahead double so. But yeah, you're still going to need that larva production in order to get up to a healthy count, because at this point in the game, you want to be on about 60 to 70 drones. Now we do see the Hellbat's going to be coming in, doing a good job of kind of mitigating a lot of that damage, but they will go down. Dream still in a little bit of a tight spot here. But he's going to be adding on these Banshees. There is detection, so you do kind of have to have them synced up in order to get any damage in. The Queens as well are in a good spot, and that third base is not done. And now Rogue, you know, he does have his third base, but he's still on a relatively low drone count. Even now, just kind of losing a couple more. It's a little bit painful. Even gonna get a second Banshee strike over here, denying mining. So it's not even just that he's killing the workers. It's the fact that he's denying them the mining time. They are being forced to be pulled off. So they are not being utilized as efficiently as possible. Yeah, 12 workers going down as well, forcing all of these Queens over here and still getting away with the Banshee. That is tremendous amounts of damage. And while I don't think Rogue is in a terrible position, he's still on 69 workers. I think Dream is doing a pretty good job of kind of getting back into the game. Take a look at the income graph, as some people are suggesting. It's actually not as far behind as you would think. Obviously, the mules are being utilized quite effectively in order to make sure that he doesn't fall too far behind in terms of that income. And now that he's seen the fact that it's Spire, this is actually a little bit iffy, I want to say, for Rogue. You know, Spire Tech is going to delay upgrades. It's going to delay going up to Hive Tech because you just need to use so much gas to get up to a good critical mass of Mutalisks. And now we have Thors on the way. We got Drilling Claws coming in as well. The Metas are going to be coming in, getting some good pickoffs, forcing the Marines to come home. And oh, the Hellbat's getting a good connection on the Zerglings. And honestly, he's not able to take out the Banshees either. But yeah, Dream is starting to get cleaned up just a little bit. Actually, never mind. He did a pretty good job of deflecting that. But Rogue is by no stretch of the imagination done. The Mito's taking a couple of big hits. That Thor really not taking any damage himself either. The Banshee's doing a really good job of covering for him. But he's going to have to lift that up. And every time he lifts it up, it's a very dangerous situation for him. You can see trying to fight around that edge into the main base just to make sure that he survives a little bit longer. But yeah, Rogue being a little bit, Rogue's being a little bit sloppy. He's losing a lot more mutos than he necessarily ought to, but that is going to be enough. GG is called, and Rogue will take the first game of the night. All right, so a pretty good game. I think Dream did do a lot of early damage, but it was just that backstab that kind of cut him down a little bit to size. But it's still going to be a pretty. 1 second, guys. Sorry, I'm reading like 6 messages trying to get. Trying to get everything set up. Apologies. But we are going to be going into game number 2 on Oxide. So basically how this is going to go, since we are playing every single map, we're going to do the 7 ladder maps, and then they're going to reset. Honestly, I wish that we would let the players choose like any map from history, because that would be pretty cool to see them play on like Megaton from a long time ago. But I digress on that point. Oh, is there a noise gate problem? I don't have a noise gate on. Let me just fix one more thing. Ah! There we go. All right, so spawning down here in the bottom position. Give it up for Dream. And his opponent up here in the top with a very interesting spawning pool. He is Rogue. Okay, so yeah, just the fact that Rogue has gotten that spawning pool first does mean that he's going to be moving across, and this is actually a really deadly yeah, this is actually a really bad situation for Dream. He sent out the Reaper, so his natural might get canceled here pretty darn quickly. Now he does see the timing on that hatchery finishing, so he does know that this is indeed the case. Is his wall complete? It is, technically, but it's not down. Now he's going to have to pull these SCVs. He will lose one right off the bat. Forces the Reaper to come home, so no additional information. But he will be able to clean that up. So overall, he loses a couple of seconds, and the problem right now is the biggest problem for him is that he's overreacting a little bit. Getting that bunker on the high ground is really going to slow him down economically. Okay, I'm trying to adjust the microphone, guys. Really sorry about it. It's been a while since I've used this kind of stuff. Okay, so Now, we do see Dream going to be going for a bit of a different style of Hellbat drop, or not necessarily a drop, Hellbat timing. This time, he's going to be adding in the Marauders. If you know anything about this, this is fantastic versus heavy Queen style that Zerg have been using recently, because the Marauders with concussive shells destroy the Queens in the front, and without Banelings, without like roaches, or just literally anything that's a little bit tankier or does more damage, you're just going to die as Rogue. But now, there you go. We got the Hellbats coming in. He did drop down the Baneling Nest after kind of recognizing this. So, you know, he will have a couple of units in position. He kind of saw the direction these guys were taking. The Hellions looks like they're going to regroup here, looking for the run-by that he knows is going to be coming across. And what I like from Rogue as well is that he is cleaning up the rocks on the other side. A lot of the times what you can follow this up with as a Terran player on this map is that siege tank follow-up, because you already have the production available. But hold that thought, the medevac is almost going down. That's going to make it a little bit trickier to make this attack work, but the Marauders still alive in the backfield. They are wailing away on the Queens. The Banelings as well, not going to get the most decent connections, but Dream will have to back up now, and he will have to go home. Behind this, he does have his third base at a much nicer timing than game number 1. So it's going to be a lot easier for him to kind of macro his way out of it. In terms of upgrades, these guys are going to be relatively equal, as we do have those Evo chambers and engineering base at roughly the same time. Looks like Dream wants to take a little bit of a bigger chunk out of Rogue. Has he remade any of those Banelings? Looks like the answer is no for right now. But the Marauder's not going to be able to clean up those clean up the Queens. Now, one thing I like is that Dream is getting that second factory much quicker, as he's kind of recognized that the Banelings has been the kind of choice. In terms of Rogue, a couple of things that could happen for him. He can obviously go into Spire, which is pretty nice, but what we've seen some Zerg players just decide to do is remain completely on Ling Bane tech for a long time, which allows them to get up to that faster hive. It gives them a little bit more to work with in terms of that gas. And it's just easier to kind of transition into that late game where you're so powerful as you get lurkers, as you add on roaches, etc., etc. As we do see that Hydralisk Den going to be coming down. I like the burrow. If you guys know anything about burrow, Banelings. So Dream is going to have to be scanning all over the map. It only works once, but it only has to work once. Nice pickup right there. Just going to sacrifice the Hellbats. They don't really have as much utility in this stage in the game. Obviously, at this point, you want to start to augment your army. Well, first of all, you want to keep your army alive, but you want to start augmenting it by adding on those additional Widow Mines. You want to be getting that Marine production nice and healthy. Currently only on 5 racks. Should be probably going up to 8 pretty soon. Yeah, gonna be getting siege tanks as well. I'm kind of interested about that. I guess he does recognize that Hydras are on the field. Honestly, I think you can stick with Widow Mines a little bit more. I don't think you necessarily need too many siege tanks, because if you can clean up the Lings in the front, the Hydralisks are actually very, very squishy. Now, we do have the Medivacs coming in. They're going to get deflected. I guess he's trying to do a little bit of the Dream Special drop till you drop. Good pullback by Rogue. That was like a split-second decision, saving a lot of those Lings. And now the biggest problem for Dream. He's on 145 supply. He's trying to make this work again. Does get a couple of connections. I don't think Rogue's going to be too upset losing only 5 drones to that. But here we go. Rogue is going to be channeling his way through this choke point here. Some big Widowmine connections, though. Going to save a lot of this. But it looks like there might just be a little bit too much Zerg. The SCV's getting pulled right into the chopper fire. The Banshee, for some reason, is still alive. But as 20 workers go down, looks like, I think from this point on, Rogue can just kind of continuously parade push across the map, as we do see that little puddle of red funneling through. I do agree. I would like it if Dream kind of was a little bit more out there on the map. He did try and kind of go up the middle, but that's not really how you play against mid-game Zerg. You need to be in multiple locations at once with some drops, with some units, just so that you can get your siege tanks in position with this style. But now take a look at it. We have lurkers on the way. They will have that hive with the upgrades, and looks like Rogue is going to be coming in once again. A good pullback, going to save him from the Banelings as the siege tanks rain hellfire upon them. But is it going to be enough is the big question. I don't think Rogue is overextending at any point in this game, and he's still looking pretty on the worker count. Maybe he wants to get 5 more? That sounds about right. And now one of the big stories is just this creep spread. If you take a look at this, if I can click on a tumor that he's not killing, to get to any of these bases, you have to go through so much of Rogue's vision that it's almost impossible to do so without having those units in position. Like right there, he saw the drop, he drops the lurkers, he's good to go. Oh my goodness, the wall has been breached. This is not the best situation now for Dream. He's going to have to do a lot of damage control in order to feel a little bit better about this. Okay, so Rogue not focus firing down a lot of the SCVs. That's not too bad. But at this point, Lings are about a dime a dozen. And he still has some burrowed right there. Oh my goodness. So now, taking a look at kind of just the production tab tells a big story right now. Dream kind of going into defense mode, pumping out as many siege tanks as possible. It's kind of like a pseudo mech at this point. As, oh my god, Rogue is taking his bottom right position base. That is not good at all. Lurkers as well, just going to put a little bit of pressure on the front just to kind of force a reaction out of Dream. you go, burrows once again. Those will get taken down, but they've already gotten about 5 workers, and they're denying this location for just a little bit longer. You know what? I think the worst thing here for Dream is that for all of these pushes, all of these fights, he has not had that +3 advantage that you would normally see from a Terran player. You know, at this point, you're supposed to be up at least an upgrade so that you can take those effective fights. You're supposed to just be able to do something here. But Rogue is just doing a really good job. I'm really impressed with his playstyle recently because sometimes we do see this kind of different thing about Rogue. I feel like he's had those kind of periods where he hasn't been at his top tier performance. Most recent months though, this is Rogue 2017 BlizzCon run Rogue. And we see once again the lurkers speed dropping right there, getting one of those siege tanks for almost free. If he can get rid of that high ground vision, that would be the best situation for him, as he will be able to just crush through. Little bit interested about the Vikings. I don't like them, like, at all. I guess Dream is kind of just trying to mix it up a little bit. If he gets the Vikings, he's trying to get some snipes on those Vipers to keep his siege tanks safe. But I don't know, that's a lot of supply that's not going to be fighting down here on the ground, and he's just slowly but surely getting pushed back, sieged up. You are still waiting for your Nidus. You know what? You might be waiting a couple of games for that, as we do have Rogue just going to be trying to crash his way through. Gets a ton of those siege tanks, but not enough to finish the game out just yet. I sincerely hope he doesn't do that again. So yeah, the Vikings going to get pulled forward once again. I think that's kind of the problem. He's not really able to get them up into a high enough number in order to do so. To snipe the Vipers, that is. As we do see Rogue going to be going for a little bit of a counter push up here to the top right, where most of the army is not. There are still a couple of siege tanks and some planetaries, as Dream's kind of going full Maru here. Getting the ghosts as well is going to be pretty nice. Yeah, he's not going to be able to take down the base, but he gets rid of so many of those siege tanks. It's not even funny. But as long as Rogue just continuously produces 116 lings at a time, he can take these fights. He has the bank in order to do so. Funnily enough, he doesn't have enough overlords until just now. But yeah, all he has to do is deflect Dream everywhere. All he has to do is get snipes wherever he can, keep that siege tank count low. Now that the ghosts are in play, you also have to be a little bit careful with your lurkers and hydralisks in the backfield. Looks like Rogue once again just going to go for the big dive. He will get the planetary fortress, a little bit too slow on the repair there. So now Dream is going to get stifled even further. Yeah, I think that's kind of a killing blow here for Dream. While he does still have that base in the bottom position, it's really going to start to run out. Let's take a look at that income graph. A 2,000 advantage difference as Rogue going to be coming in once again. Where are these Banelings going to hit is the big question. So far, they're not really finding the connections that they need. but they are doing their job of getting close enough, allowing the Hydralisks to get close enough to clean up some of those siege tanks. These trade, like, it may look like Rogue is losing the fight, but he's just slowly but surely getting that attrition in. And I hope you like nukes, because there's one on the way. I feel like, yeah, Dream is might be getting a little bit tilted on this game, just a little bit. This is kind of a fantasy GG timing. While he does have a strong defensive position, it's just, I mean, he sees the base down here as well, and that's kind of got to tell you where you are in this game. We see the big scan only revealing about half the army. As here we go, the Banelings going to be dropping the way, and they're looking for the ghost in the backfield, but they're not going to get the connections. Once again, I feel like Rogue, he's doing everything right. He's doing a good job, but it's just those Banelings having the biggest of issue here. It's now allowing the ghost to come back in. 18 workers are dead. And there you go. A bit of a more conservative location for that nuke, but I mean, as long as he can kind of stop some stemma flowing, it's going to be good. This guy casting, though, Mint. Oh, thank you, Zog Noto. Once again, Rogue going to be coming in with a small smattering of these units. Okay. I'm a little bit worried now, because you can throw away the Lings as much as you need to, but when you start losing those Hydralisks in the backfield, when you start kind of getting into that situation where you have so much gas that you can't actually spend because you don't have enough minerals, it's going to be a little bit hard to remax a little bit. Now, that being said, again, Rogue has been up 40 supply this entire game at the very least. And even just denying this base for a time isn't really the most important thing. Look at that. He's even sniping. I think that was a lurker? Okay, he's getting some kills here. But you know what? For as much energy, as much attention as Dream is putting right here, he doesn't see the army just slowly getting ready to surround him in the backfield. I'm sure that there is a Viper or two. Oh my goodness, Rogue, you got to remember to move the lurkers. Rogue, move the lurkers! Thank you, Rogue. Some nice snipes, but I sincerely feel like he's kind of just going for whatever he can with the snipes, you know? It doesn't feel like he's really going for the high-tier targets that he should be. As we do see the... Fun fact, I think the lurkers can actually shoot over that airspace. I'm pointing at my screen like you guys can see it. But yeah, I think this is pretty much just a fantasy GG timing at this point. Oh, you know what though? Dream is maybe gonna get this nuke. Nope. Rogue just sees it at the very last second, so all he's going to get is a couple of larvae. Okay, the Vikings now... okay, I like this, actually, because the Vikings are now in semi-large enough number where they can kind of inch their way forward to try and get those Viper snipes. Gotta be careful not to get cleaned up like that. How many units have been lost in this game? Over 700 Lings, 40 Hydralisks, 175 Banes. Oh my goodness. Rogue is definitely playing lore Zerg at this point. As we do see the Vikings going to be inching the way forward. The Vipers are in pretty small numbers now. I think that's actually the last... Never mind. There's 6. But yeah, I mean, the production tabs looking a little bit sparse for both players. For Rogue, it's because he's completely maxed out, and for Dream, it's because he's kind of gas-starved here. You know, this army is very gas-intensive. The Ghosts, the Siege Tanks, even the Vikings, just really making it so that he can't spend his minerals effectively. If anything, at this point, he probably should maybe add on a couple of Marines, just so you can kind of send them up the map and go for some pickoffs on these bases, like he's doing with this nuke. Here we go. Dream is going to try and establish a little bit further forward. The Ghost's going to be inching their way forward. Looks like if you can get the Overseers, I like their position a little bit more. EMP's a little bit, but that's why those Spore Crawlers are right there. They're not to detect, they're just to replenish the Viper's supply. Now, this is kind of like a Mexican standoff, except everyone is actually shooting. A couple of Ghosts as well getting pulled into the fray. Overlords still going down, so Rogue continuously having to replace those. One more nuke on the way. You know what, Dream? I know you're not listening, but if you're gonna commit to nukes, just go full ham. Get about 4 or 5 Ghost Academies and just make 4 or 5 at a time. Drop them all over the place simultaneously. Make it difficult for your opponent to catch every single one. As we do see Rogue going to be jumping in. He does have a small wave in the back to pull away some of that Siege Tank fire. The Hydralisks starting to get cleaned up a little bit as the snipes are pretty good. And now, for the first time in a long time, Dream has the army supply advantage. Oh my goodness, this is actually... I don't think Rogue has thrown the game necessarily, but he has let it go on so long that he's giving Dream hope. Whether it's false hope or not is another story, but he's definitely giving him hope. One more nuke going to be coming in, but we do have Rogue looking to dive on top of it. He will get the cancel on that one. The Ghost in the backfield doing what they can. The Blinding Clouds, pretty good, but now Rogue is completely broke. He was a trust fund baby, but just like a comedy from the 2000s, he is now cut off from that money, and he's trying to make it work with these 4 lurkers. A couple of drones going down, as well as a few SCVs, but now Rogue just 18 links on the production tab. That's pretty much all he's got. He's trying to parade push, but the parade is not in town this day. Looks like Rogue is mentioning his frustration here with this style. They said, I'm going to assume that's what's happening as Dream. Oh my god, that is the kind of game that we love to see. And you know what other game we love to see? We've got a battle to fight. So let me pull that up. Looks like we got a pretty good level of beautiful guys over here. A couple of regulars that I have seen. Let's do it. And it looks like we're doing a pretty good job in the side here. As Sushi's Vengeful Warrior going to be taking up the back. Buck Foy doing a really good job. He does go down, but he does get the big kill on the Cyber Trolls, which is great. And now we are getting close to the end here. Sushi, once again with your Rogue, just going ham. The Wilhelm Scream. Is that Kirby? Okay, we had Kirby leading the charge. Okay. Let's see. Sushi, I guess you can get something this time. I don't like giving you things, but you know how it goes. Now, let's go into the unknown. Battle bravely. Fair warriors, as I'm going to bring in the Mystic in. So fantastic right there, as we're going to be going on to Jagannatha for our next map. This, you know what, I think after a game like that, you don't want to let the next one get into it. So while the next battle is getting ready for Stream Raiders, make sure you guys are placing down your units. It is completely free. But here we go. Game number 3. As we have spawning in the top right position of Jagannatha. He is Good Game Gaming's Dream. And his opponent down here in the bottom left. Give it up for Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Rogue. You know what, Haldy? I do not think Sushi ever sleeps. Literally, I have never seen him offline. I think the reason that he is on every single SC2 tournament, though, is because he's pretty much running every single SC2 tournament in existence. He does do a lot of work for us. He is the team king, pretty much. As we do see, it looks like Rogue is feeling a little bit flighty after that last one. Probably expecting some sort of cheeky shenanigan just with these Overlord placements. And off the back foot, we do have that Reaper once again, just a little bit easier to get that information early on. We do see some players skip it, but on a map like Jagannatha, which is very large with a short rush distance, you do need to see the timing on that hatchery. It is literally the most important thing in the world. So we do have everything kind of just gearing up. The Hellions are going to be the next stage here, so you do want to keep the Reaper alive. Going for the kill here, but a good Spore Crawler does not save that one, though. So with a very, very rare misstep by Rogue, Dream gets the kill. And now, one other thing to note is that we do have the 3cc opening, so trying to take advantage of the map a little bit. That third base position down there in the triangle is a little bit easier to defend, I want to say, for a Terran player. Just because it keeps you away. Like, while it is closer to the rush distance, it is a little bit easier to kind of wall off the surrounding so you don't get surrounded as easily. That's just my personal opinion. But we do have the starport finishing a tech lab as well. For Rogue side, speed is about halfway complete, so a little bit later on that in this game. Not the biggest of deals. It just means that he does have that additional gas later on. And I mean, he's getting quite a few queens. He's already pumping out 3 additional ones in addition to the 3 he already has. Yeah, 1 drone dead. Yep, just go all in. Like, that's the only way you're gonna win. Just do whatever you can. So, this is interesting out of Dream. He's getting stim very, very quickly, but this isn't like a Hellbat push like we saw in games 1 or 2. Basically, it's just going to get that stim to allow him to power up a little bit quicker. I like how he's keeping the Hellions alive while he does this, because if he would have dived in, if he would have kind of sacrificed them for drone kills, that would leave the map completely open to Rogue to run rampant. And you can kind of see he's diving on the edge of the creep, just staying barely out of range so that he can kind of shoo that away and maybe get a little bit of a kill or cancel on a 4th base before it decides to go down. But yeah, he's getting faster upgrades too. I really appreciate that out of him. Because remember, in the last game, his +3 was so late that it was on time with Rogue, so while he did win, the fights weren't necessarily as good as they could have been. Now, we did see 1 Ling kind of just confirming that that's going down. This was kind of to be expected. Spire Tech, it's either that or Nidus. And I think Spire's kind of just a little bit better utility because you can kind of build up that mute account. Now, that does mean that Rogue will be a little bit delayed in that late game. He won't be able to get up to Hive as quickly because he has to use so much gas on the mutas. But, I mean, you can just outright kill your opponent with them. Like, you don't need the late game. This is pretty nice too. The Hellions are a little bit out of position, but does he have enough in the main base? 1 queen did go down very quickly. Looks like he does have enough to kind of save everything. How many? Did he not lose a single SCV there? That is pretty interesting. But you know what, Dream, he does have that army supply lead. The creep is being forced back as far as humanly possible. The 5th base will go down. Rogue just going to try and wrap around, but wisely sending a lot of these units home. Unfortunately, they will need to pick up and get out of there before getting surrounded. And now just the fact that he's kept those Hellions alive does mean that with the armory, he's going to be able to turn them into Hellbats to soak up a lot of the Banelings, which don't really exist. There's about 11 of them to the 37 Marines, so not really in high enough numbers. The Mutas as well, not taking the best engagement. He's lost a couple of them there. I feel like this is a little bit sloppy from Rogue, but he does get the kill on that 4th base. Oh, the Viking trying to kill off one, but a good little stack there. And now, okay, so Rogue has done a good job of keeping a lot of that pressure off himself. But now Dream, he's pumping out 7 Marines at a time. He's getting his +2 upgrades to the 1/1 of Rogue, and he's getting Thors. So at this point, he's just going to try and go for these big pushes. He's just going to, you know, get those good effective trades with the Lings, with the Banes, and just try and make sure that Rogue never has enough money at all. He wants him to be completely broke. Yeah, here we go, the CSAT getting one decent connection off. Focus fire trying to get the Banes, but they will be able to clean this up. So not really the engagement he was looking for there. As you can kind of see, he was looking to engage that position with the reinforcements. He's got to be feeling a little bit bad about that one because he does cede a lot of control of the map to Rogue now. The Muta's going to be coming in. The Thor's in position, however. Let's see that army. See that army size? Yeah. As you can see, where that big engagement happened. But, you know, Dream is going to be coming in here. The Muta's taking some very big volleys from those Thors. You have to be careful. A little bit of a hotbox is needed. As we do see that Hive coming in, the +2 upgrades as well. Still no +3 from Dream. I think his biggest problem is the upgrades. Because at this point, the Hive is maybe about 30-40 seconds away. If you would have had your +3 upgrades at a good effective time, you would already be about 10 seconds away from them finishing. And then the fight's, once again, just really, really good for you. Now, he's trying to push out a little bit, just kind of feeling around with these first couple of Marines. Looking for a surround as well, but the Mutas will be able to escape. They will have +2 as soon as well. But there you go. Ultralisks is the next phase of the game. So Dream is going to have to pump out quite a few Marauders, which means that you need to keep those Thors alive even more. Because if you don't, then you're going to have to build Marines in order to defend against the Mutalisks. And that means no Marauders for the Banelings and the Ultralisks on the ground. It's just an absolute cluster. For the Terran player, you're going to have to scramble pretty hard as the Baneling's going to be coming in. Not going to get the best of connections. But he will save the Thor on red HP. Oh, the Widowmine did get the burrow. Some big connections going down, so the Banelings have been obliterated, and there are enough Marines up there in the top to save the 4th base. The Thor as well survives, and now Dream is just baiting him back into that Widowmine field. Huge connections. Beautiful. Or terrible, depending on who you're rooting for. Now, both players completely maxed out. The Widowmine just getting a little cheeky connection off on the Queen, but they will go down. And I feel like Rogue is just having a little bit of trouble deciding where he wants to attack into. You can kind of see that engagement. He wasn't splitting as well as we've seen him do in this series. But now, a big decision has been made. He's going for the reinforcements. The Widowmine's trying to do what they can, but at the end of the day, he saves the Thor. He saves a good majority of these SCVs, and the reinforcements are enough to clean up what is left of those Lings. I feel like Rogue is in a bad spot here. Terrible, terrible damage. You know what? Knowing Rogue, he probably is using the Diva. And that's one of the lines of the Diva skin. Or the announcer, rather. Oh, fighting right on top of the Widowmines. One of them does get another shot off. Losing quite a few of them here. That is nowhere near the offensive ball that it once was. Kind of taking a look at the fight here. 9 have gone down. A few more will follow. Planetary Fortress, though, very under fire. Does he have adrenal glands? He does. But without the Banelings, just not enough. Ooh, wasting a lot of the Banes there as well, trying to clean up some of these Widowmines. Dream is backed into a corner a little bit, though. Oh my goodness, every single lead that he has built for himself in this game just kind of went up in smoke there. Now, 199 supply to 159. And, whew. That's got to feel pretty bad. I feel like he wanted to pick up, but just the fact that the mutas were right there meant that he really couldn't do it ably. So now the Thor's fighting the Ultras in the back. A little bit of an overextension here. With these Ultras, they will go down. You know what? This is definitely a game of throws. And you ask, who's throwing? Both of them. Both of them are throwing very, very hard. Rogue a little bit less so. So now these multi-prong attacks, you can see how those upgrades just really affect those Lings, crushing through the supply depot wall, forcing so many of the units to stay at home to defend. So now Rogue can take those additional bases. He can build up his economy once again if he wants to. He's currently on 92 workers. But there you go, the Baneling Cascade crushing its way through. The Ultralisks as well coming in to kind of clean everything else up. The Thors, you know what? I think Thors fight okay 1v1 versus Ultralisks. But with that micro that Dream has had, he's done a pretty good job at keeping the Thors alive, but even that's not going to really save you anymore. How many larvae does Rogue have? Yeah, he does have quite a few larvae. He's got about 50 banelings on the way. And now, the thing about Dream is that he does have a decent gas bank. The problem is he just doesn't have the minerals to spend it. He's currently just making Marine Marauder. That's all he can afford to do. And as he comes in here for one last desperation fight, hoping for the Widow Mines to crush on in, there you go. GG is called. So Rogue will fight his way back to retake the lead. As let me just check here. You know what? Funny enough, everyone's saying that the map is Zerg favored. I believe last time I saw the stats for it on Liquipedia, I think I saw Terran actually has a higher win rate overall in a TVZ on that map. Yeah, it does sound kind of funny. It's kind of like when you're going out with friends and you go to like this awesome Mexican restaurant or just somewhere and you get this big dinner, and afterwards you feel like you have to use the restrooms, but the restrooms are pay to play, so you have a little bit of trouble there. And you know what? This guy, he had a little bit of trouble with that in the last game. So let's see if he can pull things back. Spawning up here in the top left position of Romanticide for map number 4. Give it up for Dream. And his opponent down here in the bottom, crushing through in that last game. He is Rogue. Dream, dream, dream. Really going for broke here, but you know what? Rogue already has his number as he's going to be coming in and getting a nice little poke around on that first SCV. If you could get a kill there, that would be pretty nice because you do need both of them to crush through that mineral line. And oh my god, that is so horrible actually. Yeah, that is the worst thing in the world because now these Marines are going to have to go all the way around. Oh my goodness. I think Dream giving his little bit of frustration there in the chat as well. As we do see the first bunker going to be coming on down, but nothing really to fill it just yet. 10 lings are already on their way. And he's even just going to pull the drones just to make sure that this does die. The SCV in a nice position for the meantime. So Rogue is just going to go straight for the Marines. Gets a full surround on a couple of them. And now the big thing is, how many drones is he going to lose? You are using a fraud build. Oh my goodness, that is really funny. So now the problem is he's trying his darndest to get the Marines in, but with the Queens in position, with the Lings right there, he's just not able to secure that. So back at home, luckily for him, he did have enough gas in order to get the factory up. So he's not necessarily dead, he's just very, very far behind. Two failed cancels, that is correct. And now we do see Rogue just saying, you know what, I'm going to try and kill you. He's got 14 lings on the production tab. He does have to pull them back because Dream is still going for broke with this. Will get one of the queens. Gonna fight in a... He was about to get into a good position there, but as these Marines go down, Rogue just has full map control. He can drone up for as long as humanly possible, and he's about to explode in terms of that economy. Killing off the SCV, gets a cancel on this base. There is no third base in the main. Okay, he gets the cancel, which is okay. But still. Yeah, look at this is kind of a desperation from Dream. He's getting 2 orbitals to try and kind of get back into it. I mean, if he goes in with that, I think his best situation here would be going in with the Hellions, getting the entire natural mineral drone line, and then getting a couple in the main base as well before the Lings can really get up there. The Viking gonna do what he can. Funnily enough, I think he could go to the high ground and get that kill. If you guys see what I see, Dream, you absolute madman. He's going for battle cruisers. Rogue, however, is double the supply right now, getting another big round of drones. You know what? I don't think I've seen Dream actually play mech before, if that's what he's doing. No, he's just going double battle cruisers. He's got 2 bases building, so he can get back into it if they do enough damage. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of his biggest problem, is he needs to get damage done with this. But luckily for him, though, Rogue has not seen this at all. He doesn't know that this is coming. Let's just kind of take a look at his vision here. Yeah. He saw the tech lab building, so he might think something is happening. But at this point, he's not even making additional queens. And that's kind of the biggest issue for him. Okay, there we go. Finally getting the Spire down. That's going to help out if you can get up a good Corruptor count. But, I mean, it's a little bit late. And you're still going to have to expend gas on the Banelings, on the upgrades for the ground units. There we go. Battle Cruiser operational. So while he's not getting a ton of direct damage right now, the fact of the matter is he is denying all this mining time. And that's super important for him. Getting the queens as well is fantastic, as we do see the battlecruisers starting to absolutely wreck face here. It's got to be careful not to be too forward with them. But now we do have the Corruptors on the way. Yamato finishes up 2 more battle cruisers, as well as additional factories. But on the other side of the map, Dream is getting his teeth knocked in. 14 of his SCVs going down. So while these battle cruisers are doing quite a bit to the Queen line, they will be able to kind of just stick around for a while. You lost 24 workers. Oh no, did he just teleport the weakened battlecruiser to where he doesn't want it? Oh my goodness, that is a big mistake there for Dream, losing 2 battlecruisers very, very quickly. I was feeling so good for him too. And so now, on the ground for Rogue, he's going to be transitioning into Roaches just to deal with the Hellions. He's trying to go for Widow Mines to stay alive. Even that teleport, just out there into the middle of nowhere. Yeah. He's just going to get sieged up. He doesn't have anything to fight the air army. This is a definite kill on the 3rd base. And in the words of an immortal Frenchman, rather, Luque di supply. I'm sure Rogue definitely is, as we do have him get the victory and go up 3 games to 1. Now, as we get this next game underway, I think we do have the next battle ready to go. This is a boss fight, so let's see how we can do. We got quite a stacked lineup. Good luck. Have fun, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we just got wrecked. Oh, wow. Yeah, I think this boss might be a little bit too hard for us there. Yeah, well, oh my goodness, we just got wrecked. Got some salvage chests. All right, let's go for the other boss here. And you can hear in the background, we do have our next game ready to go. I'm going to drop this guy. There we go. And getting back into it, spawning. Up here in the top position of Submarine. Give it up for Dream. And his opponent down here in the bottom, going pool first once again. He is Rogue. Okay, so now they are on a map which is Terran favored. Submarine has so many different choke points that it's really difficult for a Zerg player to kind of break through. Those rocks just do absolute wonders for a siege tank line. So if we see, like we saw on Oxide, yeah, I can just hear you guys picturing it and probably screaming in your heads. Rogue, though, for his credit, is not going to want Dream to get to that point, which is why this first Reaper is going to be the most important scout of Dream's life. He did not send out the scouting SCV, so he doesn't know the timing on the hatchery necessarily. If that finishes before the Reaper gets there, he is going to be really, really scared. Okay, looks like the Reaper did go in. He did get to see the fact that it was not ready to go. The factory has been started. Does he throw down the tech lab, though, is the big question. Does he know what is coming his way? Basically, there's two ways to kind of play this. The safer way would be to, either get one siege tank or one cyclone, deny the high ground vision, and just get those bunkers instantly repaired. Because once that CC is done, you can just lift that up to the high ground and you're fine. You're kosher. You're good. But, yeah, the other way you can kind of deal with it is to go up to Banshees. Yeah, there we go, Cyclone. So I'm not really too worried for Dream at this stage in the game anymore. Rogue is investing quite a bit into this, and he will get a couple of SCVs, but for what he's doing, you most certainly want to get a little bit more. It looks like the wall is down, so the Roaches are going to be battling their way forward. But, yeah, he loses the Overlord, so once these guys die, they die. But yeah, we do see 7 workers go down. That's definitely not the number that you need. He's currently only up about 8 workers right now. Some good micro as well. Going to keep a lot of these Marines alive. Or a Marine, rather. And now it's Dream's turn. Sending the Cyclones across to get a couple of cheeky pickoffs. Might even be able to get a cancel on that third base as he throws down a third of his own. The Banshees as well. Going to be coming right on in. And now the big question for Rogue. What is your follow-up? Do you try to drone up when you know your opponent's going to be aggressive against you? So far, the answer is no. As he's trying to get out enough units to defend. He doesn't have speed, so the Lings are not going to be able to get the Cyclones. That's kind of funny. Not even just getting the lock-ons, forcing Rogue to make more and more units. That's kind of the problem. It's not necessarily what he invested into that attack. It's the fact that he's still having to invest. So he's on 31 drones. To the 34 of Dream, who, again, will have 3 bases worth of mules. The Cyclone's still kind of dancing around. The Banshee just kind of hanging out. You know, it's a spa day waiting for orders. Oh my goodness, no Spore Crawlers either. This is about as bad a situation for Rogue as he can get. He's even trying to send a big attack across the map, but that's going to get cleaned up quite quickly. Ooh, not focus firing. And never mind, it didn't get cleaned up quite quickly. Looks like Dream never remade that wall, so now Rogue finally getting that commitment and finally getting that damage that he was looking for early on. 14 workers going down, I think. Oh my goodness. Dream, you were doing so good, my man. I don't think this is necessarily tilting. Wait. Okay. Okay, never mind. Don't listen to the caster. Caster doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, honestly, I feel like that amount of damage was fine. He killed off pretty much all of the drones, or SCVs rather. And even though he was kind of taking a little bit of damage across the map, I think he would have been fine. Yeah, kind of just taking a look at it. I guess the fact that he only had about 29 workers at the end of it there is kind of what made his decision. Yeah, I don't think it was necessarily tilting. But when you're playing against a player like Rogue, you kind of just go into it with an automatic tilt, I think. Um, Maybe not like a big acute angle, or an obtuse angle rather, but maybe more like a little 5 degree, you're a little off balance. I gotta say that game probably feels pretty good for him though. Better get out and say Zerg OP. Everything is OP when you put it in the hands of a Korean player. But we are in our next one, Light Shade, as spawning up here in the big top left corner. He is representing Good Game Gaming. He is Dream. And his opponent, down here in the bottom, he's a dragon. And he's a phoenix. He will rise, and he will scorch. Give it up for Rogue. I think something about these team names is really strange to me. Because a lot of teams put gaming or gamers at the end of their team name. Like you have Good Game Gaming, Genesis Gaming, which is a North American team, Psystorm Gaming, Dragon Phoenix Gaming. It's like, we know you're gaming. That's literally what you're putting on the screen here. Like, I don't think anyone is going to confuse your team for, like, playing football or soccer if you're European. That's just one thing that I've always kind of found a little bit strange on, like, esports. But coming back into this one, we do see that Reaper going to be coming across. Yeah, you know what? We should start a clan, just gaming. But it looks like for this stream, we'll just kind of be getting the standard opening here. That Reaper getting a little bit too aggressive. So he is at very big risk of going down. Is the score incorrect? No, it should be correct. I feel like I opened up a can of worm with this topic of conversation. But yeah, Dream, he's getting that third CC nice and quick. I think Lightshade although it does have one of the shortest rush distances in the pool with 33 seconds, it's actually tied for submarine if you can believe it or not. It's still a little bit easier to kind of secure that third base, so getting it nice and quick to stay equal in terms of that economy with the Zerg player is super important. 3-base Terran is kind of the pinnacle because you get up to 5, 7, 8 racks, and then you're just consistently putting on pressure. Like when you watch Bjorn play, that's exactly what he does. Once he's on 3 bases, he never stops. He never stops. Even when he's down 100 supply, he's across the map. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but he does it. And I think Dream would actually benefit from that kind of thing because Rogue is playing a very lore Zerg style. And by that I mean he's taking these engagements a little bit in... I'm trying to remember my English here, but a little bit inefficiently. In that he's taking a lot more damage to his units, but he's winning because he can just completely overproduce you. And that's kind of what the push does, is it gets those trades, and eventually they can't do that anymore. As we see, these queens are going to be just closing down the Hellions. A couple of them did have to go back home to defend. He's doing a good job of keeping them alive just so that he can bring them into his next push, which I think will come about the time 1-1 finishes. Taking the low ground expansion though, that is a normal spot, but it is very open to these run-bys, as we do see that fresh mule being forced off the mineral line. Now, we got siege tanks on the way, which does mean that Dream is going to be pushing out here relatively soon. As we do see Rogue kind of just powering up, getting ready for it. He's on 69 workers, so with that kind of lead, he's able to just pump out units for a little bit before going back to droning. And it looks like Dream's kind of just trying to clear up some of that creep, giving him some of those angles where he can get in there a little bit better without being spotted. I gotta say, one thing I love about top tier Zergs is just the fact that their creep spread is so good. It's literally impossible for them not to see anything on the map. And Dream getting a little bit of it there, but the queens are right next to it in order to clean that, or re-put it back down, the purple carpet. And the fact is, it's right there on the perfect siege tank location. So even if you try to engage, those lings are going to have that speed. The queens are going to be able to come in and help out. As we see, the Hellions actually going to get a little bit cleaned up there. About half of them do go down, as we see Rogue going to prepare for the surround to pick off the reinforcements. Looks like Dream is paying attention. However, good positioning on that siege tank. Can Dream do it? He does have the reinforcements staying back at home, getting ready for this, which means this push isn't going to have as much power as he necessarily would like. The Bailings moving forward, tanking the tank shot. But this is going to allow Dream to get into position. I think, yeah, just pull the SCVs. Don't really have to lose too many of them. The reinforcements will be enough to kind of clean that out. How has he not lost more workers there? You saw the Lings just getting little pokes here and there. But now, Dream can bring his reinforcements in. Oh, a little bit too far forward on some of those Marines, dropping right on top of the Banelings. He does save the Marines. That's the important part for him. One big shot. Okay, these siege tanks being the MVPs here, still going to find the SCV line. Good splits, not going to lose too many of them. Only 6 going down. 69, nice. Okay, now Rogue is starting to get that damage a little bit more here. Funneling in some of these links just all over the place. This is... yeah, this is pretty pretty iffy for Dream because of this. Because he had to pull everything back. Because he doesn't really have a Marine count to speak of. He's only got about 20 on the field. To the 38 Lings and 10 Banes. And he's going Liberators. Rogue has a Hive. So, while the Liberators are going to be okay, just the fact that Rogue is sticking with this very heavy Ling style, I don't think Liberators are really going to be a good option for him there. Trying to get the counter damage in, but Rogue does have his units in position. And now Dream's just in a little bit of trouble here. Once again, we turn to France for the answer. Look at the supply. And look at the GG. As Rogue gonna tack on another lovely win on the board for him there. Fantastic play out of our Zerg player. Now, not to say Dream is playing badly. He's just kind of not in the zone in a couple of these engagements. I think that's all it comes down to, is he's getting in these good positions. He's getting these locations where he can siege up effectively, but then he takes the bad fight. He doesn't split his units. He doesn't do one thing. And then that's where Rogue kind of just finds a chink in his armor and stabs him. I remind you guys, make sure you're getting your warriors in there as well. Right after this game, we are going to be trying out the other boss to try and fight our way back into it as a team. We will conquer and we will prevail. But speaking of conquering and prevailing, spawning down here in the bottom position, he is up 4-2. Give it up for Rogue. And his opponent on the other side of the map, he still has the chance to earn a good chunk of change. This series is far from over. Give it up for Dream. Alright, so the big question here. Deathor, one of the more standard macro maps in the pool. Are you going to be able to push? Or are you going to have to be stuck in your base, kind of just letting Rogue do what he wants again? It's kind of the thing about TVZ. I'm not saying anything is overpowered, because I have seen that really anybody can be overpowered with any race. It just depends on who you are as a player.
Game paused.
I want to know. I'm losing my train of thought. It's about 5:30 in the morning, and I'm totally blanking right there. Looks like we're having a little bit of lag, however.
Game resumed.
Okay, taken care of there. Okay, I remember what I was going to say. So, TVZ, I think it's one of the more balanced matchups in the pool. I don't think late game is necessarily completely Zerg favorite. I do think that once you get up to 80 workers, a lot of the quality of life changes. Kind of just made it a little bit easier to play, and that's kind of why we saw that big explosion of Zerg dominance. For example, that queen change with the injects, that was huge, because now Zerg players can focus their attention into so many different locales. They can combat with their units, with their army a little bit more, which is kind of one of the things that kind of held them back. And that's kind of why, you know, back in Heart of the Swarm hosts were so popular, because you could just set them and forget them. You didn't necessarily have to pay attention, leaving yourself open to that. But, yeah, coming back to this game in general, we do have the Hellions going to be coming out. Banshees more than likely. Losing that Reaper is pretty bad, though. It kind of just shows Dream wasn't paying attention to it. And that can be an issue, because that means he's not going to have that extra little bit of firepower with these Hellions. How can you have 11 wins in a best of 11? Well, you are correct in your assumption. But we are playing every single game, because every single game is worth money. Like, I kind of like this format a little bit more, because you do get to see pretty much every game. And yeah, just a little bit more content. Now, if you guys see what I see, we do have Marines, we do have Hellions, we do have an Armory, and that is all the telltale signs that Dream, he's definitely going for a battle cruiser proxy. That's exactly what this means. You can't convince me otherwise. And I'm just kidding. It is definitely a Hellbat push coming across the map. Looks like the medevac is a little bit further behind, giving Rogue some time to kind of see what's going on, but oh, does he have enough lings? He's got 15 lings, 7 queens. They do have enough transfuse energy as well. But here we go. The armory just completes. So far, keeping them as Hellions, making them a little bit less effective. But he is going to be retreating off the edge of the creep. Be kind of cool to land a Viking. But behind this, he's going to get that second factory up and operational. I kind of like that. Getting that second factory doesn't necessarily mean he has to go mech, but it's going to mean he's going to get plenty of those Widow Mines or Siege Tanks much, much quicker, and that's going to allow him to push a little bit more conservatively. As we do see Rogue going to be gearing up for a big run by here. The SCV is, I think they were fighting the Mules for dominance there. But here we go, the Hellions going to be coming in. The Banelings get a couple of connections, taking out some of those Hellbats as the wall is lifted up there. Now Dream having to go home and defend that. Oh my goodness, that was so many workers. I did not know there was that many in the wall. But now, okay, so Dream down 20 supply. He's going to try and just hold on to his natural mineral line here. He's got to be so careful with that wall. Oh my goodness, he is playing with fire. 12 workers going down. The siege tank going to do what it can. But now, even though there's not that many Zerglings, the fact is you can use them to bait some of those Widowmine shots and get that splash damage on the units. There's also a format section on the Liquipedia page that should be read, by the way. Who has time to read, my man? Certainly not Dream, as he's trying to drop the Widowmines. Gets one drone. The second Medevac is going to get shooed away by the Queens in the bottom. Nice. Hey, once again, we're in that position where Rogue is up 92 workers. He was up 92 workers, now a little bit less. Losing a couple to some Widowmines in the bottom there. Yeah, he's still up a good worker count. He's going up to Hive. He's transitioning into Lurkers pretty soon. And this is kind of the point where Dream kind of struggled a little bit. You know, even though he did win that game where we did see Lurkers, he still, like, it still went on far longer than it necessarily should have. And this time, I think Rogue is going to kind of change things up a little bit, maybe be a little bit more tactical with where he decides to move in. I think that would be really the best option for him. Maybe get the Nidus Worm that some individuals were hoping he would get. Yeah, adding on that third siege tank production line, getting the upgrades as for well, and he's getting a ton of damage with these Widowmines, forcing Rogue to remake them. Oh my god, he has 102, by the way. Like, he can afford to lose those. He can't afford to lose the larva. And that sound does mean that the battle is ready to go right after this game. But now I think Rogue has kind of recognized, yeah, there you go. You know, someone asked for one Nidus Worm, we got two. So yeah, you know, I liked it for a minute there, and the reason I don't anymore, the Overseer is going down. So that'll make it a little bit harder. He does have the Changeling though, which should help. Yes, we see Dream kind of just setting up, kills the Changeling. Nice, nice. But I think he really does want to hit this position before it's effectively sieged up. As we see, he's just kind of biding his time. The siege tanks are not sieged up, not ready to go. And every second that passes, Dream's army just gets scarier and scarier. But here we go. That Overlord is heading straight for the main base. Both of them are dropped. The siege tank is in position to clean up one of them. Will the second one come down? It's going to be down to the wire. Oh my goodness. If this doesn't work, he's going to donate quite a few lurkers. But no, they do not go down. So instead, he's just going to send them probably to the bottom left to give him an easier reinforcement point. As we do see the Hydras trying to engage in here, but that siege tank line is a bit too fearsome. Grab your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of like being at the movies. You will finish it before the movie actually begins because you're watching so many credits. As we see a little bit of a feint, the Widowmine gets a big connection on an already dead lurker. He gets a cancel on this location, but the base is saved. Oh my goodness, Rogue is trying desperately to make this work. Dropping the Niduses everywhere that he can, but he doesn't have any units in them. Oh my goodness, taking a really scrappy fight here as well. Training out a lot of these Hydralisks for pretty much nothing. Maybe a siege tank or two. Taking a look at the bank, he does have 4K minerals in that, but what did he lose? Looks like he'll have some friendly fire damage, but 15 Hydralisks, 93 Lings, and 5 of the Lurkers as well. Really cost effective there for Dream. And now I kind of agree with you, Klaus. Maybe get some Broodlords would be nice, but that ghost count is relatively high to make them work. I think more Banelings. I think the only thing you can really do here is try and break through, but getting funneled into a choke point is allowing the siege tanks to get beautiful connections in. A blinding cloud does help out, and the mineral line does go down. So this time, Rogue does get a little bit more, but Dream is still standing strong in the background. Yeah, I just don't know if that's going to be necessarily worth it. Dream doesn't care about the SCVs. He probably cares about those siege tanks, though, which, I mean, he should. That's a lot of supply that's not really going to be able to fight for him. I hope he recognizes that soon. But, yeah, Rogue, I don't think he can afford to get rid of that bank. We saw that he lost half of his bank with that last fight. Please someone clip that. A little bit of a production line failure right there. As Dream is going to recognize the fact that he doesn't have that many Widow Mines, or Siege Tanks rather. Beautiful connection there with that Widow Mine. And Rogue is going to jump in once again. Tries to go straight for the mineral line, but again, he doesn't care how many SCVs he loses. He is up like to 5 or 6 orbitals. He can replace them with mules and just build a bigger army. Hey, they finally get out. So Rogue is still maxed out. That's the big important thing. He gets a kill on the base, which is helping out greatly, immensely. But now, you know, Just all of those forgotten tanks building the great wall of nope for those Zerglings. Even just trying to open up some of these locations so that he can get the rotation around. Opening up some of those attack paths, but the creep is right on top of him now. The Ghost's going to be inching their way forward. Here we go. The Blinding Clouds only on a couple of those siege tanks. They will go down. Can't afford to waste the Banelings on the siege tanks. But he does kill pretty much all of them. And even though I said that you can afford to lose a lot of SCVs, once you're down that low, it's not going to be as nice because you don't have the base to drop them on. So that time, a lot better for Rogue as he gets the tap out. He goes up 5-2 in this series, and the map pool resets. But what doesn't reset is our hopes and glory as we have, oh my goodness, look at this army. We got this, guys. Cyber node impacts. You think we can do it? Let's go. All right, we are crowding around that top side. We want to kill off these hackers. And now, that was a lot easier. Oh, hang on, let me get into game. But congratulations, guys. We did it. We crushed through the Stream Raiders Championships. And let us see who has earned these. Looks like Masher Mouse is leading the charge. Where are you at? Let's see. Masher Mouse, if you're in the chat, I'll give you like 10 seconds. Do you want Centurion, Monk, or Musketeer? If you don't respond really quick, I'll give you the Centurion. And 5, 4, 3. There you are, my man. Enjoy your Centurion. Who else is up there? Kramox with his epic unit. Thank you so much, my man. And as for the Musketeers, I feel like I'm going to give this one at random. Let's give it to the assists. Korean name. There you go. But don't worry, guys. There is still plenty of opportunities to earn more rewards. So make sure you get your units out. I'm going to drop these down. As we have spawning in the top right position of Oxide for the second go around. Give it up for Dream. And his opponent down here in the bottom. He's crushing through so far. Let's see if he can continue the train. He is Rogue. Alright, so last time we did see a little bit of a longer game. I think Oxide, though, plays a little bit better in the short game. You know, once you get past the easier to take fourth base, you really can't commit as much to the defense. Commentator knows SC2. I hope I do. Mostly I'm just here to make noise and hype things up that usually aren't very hype. Like, oh my God, he's making 4 Zerglings. 2 queens are gonna come out as well. That's pretty much what I do. Yeah, on Dream's side of the map, nothing too fancy, just gonna get that factory in as the Reaper, once again playing it fast and loose. Taking a lot of damage, and I'm a little bit worried about its chances to get out as Rogue blocking the wall. There you go. Nice little bit of micro there. As we do have the third base coming on down. Now, this does slow you down very slightly in the early game, trying to get that up because it is very mineral intensive. So your starport is just a few seconds late. But, you know, overall, just the benefits way outweigh the risks that you're taking, because honestly, at this level in the Korean scene, we don't really see too many like Ling Floods or Baneling busts anymore since they left the meta, and that's kind of one of the only things that can absolutely crush through. And the funny thing is, like, while it does slow you down slightly, at the end of the day, it does allow you so much mobility in terms of what you get to go for. You want to do a Hellbat push off the back of it? Go crazy. You want to do... you want to go up to Banshees with Cloak? Yeah, go ahead. Gets 2 drone kills right there. Pretty nice. Keeps some of those Hellions alive. But now we kind of see Rogue wanting to play it a little bit safer by throwing down that Baneling nest. He sees the first couple of Hellions, and I guess that's scaring him a little bit since Stream has been going quite heavily for a Hellbat play in this series. But yeah, just going to get a little bit of a scout, sees the Cloak being researched, so the Banshees aren't going to be that big of a surprise to him. So now behind this, we do have the engineering base for those upgrades, those additional racks going to be coming in. I would like to see Dream probably move out with at least 1 or 2 medevacs full of Marines, if he can swing it once Stim completes, just because that's going to kind of put a little bit more pressure on Rogue to not drone up as heavily as he is right now. Looks like Rogue's making a little bit of an overabundance of Evo chambers, getting 4 of them. As the Banshee's going to be coming in, getting 3 kills right off the bat. But now the Queens are here, so you do have to retreat. Seven kills. Nice. I dig it. I don't dig that, though. Losing one of the Banshees for almost free. But here we go. As those +1 upgrades finish for Dream, he's going to find himself a nice little position to push his way in. It looks like the siege tank got a little bit lost along the way, though, as the rocks are already broken down, so Rogue not taking any chances with this positioning. Dream maybe a little bit indecisive there. I've yet to see. Just because he's not really pushing in too heavily, he's kind of just trying to bait Rogue to the edge of the creep. Trying to get a good engagement there, just having to pick up. In terms of upgrades, it looks like Rogue will be going for Hydralisks relatively soon here, as he's going for those +1 upgrades for range units. Even going to get the Hive pretty soon, as he's getting a very, very fast infestation pit, I'd like to say. That's kind of interesting to me, because while he does have a good army right now, plenty of Lings, plenty of Banes to kind of defend multiple locations as Dream's going for the multi-prong, that can all change in kind of an instant. You take a couple of bad fights and poof, you're behind. Like right now, Dream is ahead in terms of that army supply, in terms of overall supply. And he's also going up to those additional factories and finding good amounts of damage with these drops. Getting the queens means less injects. Cleaning up a lot of the Lings with the Hellbats as well. Tanking a lot of those Baneling hits. The Siege Tanks just doing absolute work. So now Rogue is going to have to remake all of those. And now he doesn't really even have enough to defend these drops as efficiently, especially not in this location. As soon as the Banelings come in, you just pick up and hit the next wave. This is absolutely what Dream needed to be doing earlier in the series. Yeah, just getting all these queen kills is fantastic for him. Now the Lings kind of letting the drones die here. Just great. Just overall. Now Dream's up on 4 bases. He's adding on those additional racks, getting us tons of siege tanks. And what does Rogue have? He has an Ultralisk Cavern on the way. Is that ready? No. Not for another 40 to 50 seconds. Plus that, they're not really even that useful until you get chitinous plating. And even then, you'd need, like, I think it's called something synthesis, to make sure that they can fight off the creep as well. I think Rogue is just a little bit indecisive on what he wants to go for, just because, again, he did get those +1 attack upgrades for both sides, which means his +2 is so much later. It's only just now finishing as Dream is about halfway to +3. I think I'm loving Dream's position right now. It's just awesome. We do see Rogue going for a pretty big run by here. The Banelings trying to focus down the army. Dream not really splitting, but because he's trying to fight straight up, and that is going to cost him so many units. But he is still ahead in supply. He still has a massive tank line ready to go. Just take a look at that. 11 tanks on the field. And while I didn't like the Liberators earlier, I love them now. Rogue is really struggling to kind of keep up, as I think Dream is just going to go for a reverse sweep here if Rogue isn't careful. Any info on Protoss fix? Which fix do you think in, Macro Man? As we do see a Rogue trying to fight in multiple angles, but unfortunately fighting underneath those Liberators, those Ultras, taking tons of damage. The Banelings connecting to a lot of the Marines, but again, at this point, Dream is just trying to trade those out and doing a fantastic job, I might say, cleaning up that drone line. 16 drones going down. He's going to get potentially a kill on this base for lifting up and getting right on out. Even then, he's not getting out. He's still forcing Rogue to stay at home with this inefficient army of his. I did see a Spire. I believe that was allowed to finish. Yeah, Broodlord's potentially going to have to be the way to go. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. Looks like stream is still okay. Oh, I hope the players didn't feel that too bad. But here we go. Once again, fighting into a huge choke point. Those siege tanks just doing absolute work. This is kind of a GG push here for Rogue as his supply dropping super heavily. And now, I mean, he's trying to remax, get a couple of Corruptors, but there's not really enough Liberators to justify that. If you want to go up to Broodlord, you're going to have to commit a little bit heavier in that regard. But, oh my goodness, Dream making 4 CCs. And Rogue, you know what? I think he's trying to hit his head against a brick wall at this point, but he keeps thinking that, okay, maybe this time it'll break. Okay, maybe this time it'll break. And as time goes on, he slowly gets dizzier and dizzier, and he just can't really see the forest for the trees anymore. He just sees the brick wall. As we have him coming in once again. Some huge siege tank fire going on. The Ghost getting the snipes, and as that last Ultras falls, Dream gets the tap out that he was looking for. And we are going on to game number 9, I believe, at this point. And it looks like I'm seeing a little bit of a pattern here with these maps as we're going to be going back to Jaga Nantha. You know what? It would be pretty cool if we went all the way to an actual best of 11, but as it stands, we're going to just be playing every single map anyway. As looking at this one, the question is, will it be a repeat of the last time we were on this map? Let's find out, as in the same positions as last time, spawning up here in the top. Give it up for Dream, who is sending quite a few workers where they don't belong. Dream, you naughty, naughty boy, trying to get the cheeky win against this madman down here in the bottom position. He is Rogue. All right. So he's got 2 SCVs down here. A third is on the way. So this is not your typical 2 Rex. This is an all-in. Like, it's kind of that thing. You make 2 racks, you get the gas down in the backfield, and you can throw down a pretty nice factory timing so you can transition to a mid game. But with this, yeah, you're pretty much all in. You're going to be spending all of your minerals on Marines. There is just no getting around it. The question is, will he be able to get a bunker up in time, as we do see Rogue going for the big old scout. Now, he sees the SCV. That's a bit of an awkward position right there. And there you go. But, oh no. Oh no. He didn't see the 3rd racks. Luckily, though, he does get a cancel on the bunker for just a little bit longer. That's going to give him time to get out a link count. But the Marines going to start to add up, having to pull all of these drones. Will the bunker finish? He does get it up. And now these drones are pretty much in a terrible position. He's going to get the surround on them, just trying anything he can to survive. And while the bunker will go down, 6 drones will follow it, and the Lings are getting cleaned up by the kite. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so Rogue, a little bit, not necessarily an underextension. He just did not know the gravity of the situation until it was a bit too late. So now he's on 14 workers, and some of those aren't even really mining efficiently. He keeps pulling them, looking for a way to get a surround to try and get back. And now we do have some Lings gearing up for a surround, but they will not have speed anytime soon. And here we go. The Queens are going to start to fall. The Lings doing what they can. But remember, Dream is all in with this. Looks like he did overextend quite heavily right there, chasing those Queens, though. I think that might be the end of this rush for him. If he would not have overextended like that, I think he would have been in a much better spot. But now Rogue is going to get a surround on these units. They will go down. And what looked like a good position for him is now turning into a nightmare. But he's just going to keep going. Scan going to go down. He just wants to count the number of drones. If he doesn't see too many, he's going to fight. If he sees too many, he's not going to fight. One Marine left outside. He's going to try and break down the wall, but with those 2 Marines at the top, just no dice, really. Take a look at kind of that army value. I think this is kind of the big story of the series. That big drop in Dream's army size. It's been the name of the series, it's been the name of the games, wherein he takes these couple of fights when he's necessarily ahead. Like when he's ahead, like when he's behind, yeah, it's expected that Rogue's gonna run all over you. But when you're ahead and you take a bad fight, that's the worst feeling in the world. So now we see Rogue just going to go for broke, deny that natural CC from ever going down. I like that, but he is going to go for broke here. 8 roaches on the production tab. Currently up almost double the supply. And yeah, I think he could kill. I think he could kill Dream here. Dream doesn't really know that this is coming, so he's not building any Cyclones, no Siege Tanks, just Hellion Marine. Stim is going to be nice, but will you have enough Marines to use it? And remember, the medevacs are not going to be out by the time this rush starts. It's the bunker. It must stay up. You are indeed correct. But here we go. Dream's heart probably sank a little bit. He's going to go straight for the high ground. Bunker has been started in the back, but it looks like the Lings are just trying to keep the wall from going up. If he focus fires it down one of these depots, it's going to go a long way. Still can't get the bunkers down, but he has broken through. 15 workers, 16 workers going down. Okay, maybe I'll... I don't... Yeah, I think from here you just kind of back up as Rogue. You're fine. You don't need to kill him with this. You've done more than enough damage. And yeah, behind it, he's going to drone up a little bit, while also kind of just sending these Lings in. But the bunker is complete. I think, yeah, run around it, kill that bunker, and GG will be called here soon. Maybe not. Maybe not necessarily right now. You know what? I do think mules can be very strong in most situations, but when you're down double the worker count, maybe not as much. The saving grace for Dream is just the fact that Rogue doesn't have any upgrades. That's kind of one of the only things that's going his way, is the fact that he is equal on those upgrades. We got the Widowmine production started, and I kind of like this. Dream is still out on the map. I think it's going to be pretty important to do so, as if you let Rogue, again, start to drone up maniacally, it's the worst situation in the world for you. But we do see the medevacs going to be looking for an angle to get in. The creep spread not as pronounced either, since he was focusing so much attention on the other side. And here we go. He's going straight for the main base. The Lings are a little bit out of the way. Honestly, not even really taking a good fight with the Zerglings. A lot of them did go down with that for not that many Marines. Only 2 Marines going down. I mean, clean up some of those Overlords as well. Maybe not enough to supply block, but enough to kind of be a nuisance for Rogue's economy. I still think Dream has a chance as well. Rogue is going for roaches. So the thing about roaches, the way I see it, with roaches, you're going for faster upgrades. Like, you're kind of just trying to brute force your way in to the late game, because they're not really that gas intensive, so that leaves you open to getting that faster hive up. They do lose a lot of their utility, however. As those upgrades start to come in, so that's kind of why you do need to go up to faster hive. So it's a kind of a catch-22. You get roaches for the fast hive, but you need the fast hive to keep the roaches. Now the base is going to get shut down right here. The Widowmine does get the drop finally out of that medevac as this is cleaned up right there. +1 attack goes down, denied. And with that, yeah, Dream is at 107 supply, completely supply blocked. He had a good run of it, but I just don't see how he can win this one here as the Lynx flood their way in. The siege tank not firing at what it needs to. GG is called, and don't worry your pretty little heads, chat. Even though Rogue has won the series, we are still playing every single game. So still a lot of good StarCraft 2 left to come. But you know what? We do have another Stream Raiders battle ready to go. We're going to start this one a little bit early so that we can get all of our battles in. So here it comes. Doing a pretty good job. I kind of like this strategy of ours. We're kind of just tanking one side, you know, full on flanking up. Which is just allowing us to get pretty darn far. Plenty of archer support as well. You guys did a really good job of getting us ready for this fight. And we are victorious. Let us see who should get this one. I think Sajabus with the most kills has earned this one. He gets 3 warriors scrolls, and we all get 5 gold coins. So I'm going to set up the next one. As you can hear in the background, the next game has started. Let's go with a gold mystic this time. That looked as one-sided as that last match. Oh, you Twitch chat. Spawning. Up here in... buttons. Spawning up here in the top position of Submarine. He is for Good Game Gaming. Give it up for Dream. And his opponent down here in the bottom, looking to get even more moolah. Give it up for Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Rogue. Game 10 will last how long? Oh man, these predictions are getting hard. Okay. No Roach worn out. No early spawning pool. All the racks are where they're supposed to be. 15 minutes. I am saying 15 minutes. Yeah, I mean, nothing really stands out for this one. This was one of the maps that Dream won last time because Rogue did overextend into a big all-in that didn't do enough. So good micro there, going to get a Ling very, very quickly. Now, pretty nice there as Rogue not pulling back as much as he'd like. 2 of them going down. My goodness, that Reaper is feeling pretty happy with himself, I'd imagine. On the other side of things, we do have, once again, that 3rd CC coming on in. That's just to stay ahead as much as humanly possible. There is no way that you want to fall behind in this situation. But on the other side of things, one thing I'm noting here for Dream, no Hellions. Like, they are very, very delayed with this build that he's doing in this specific moment, and that's going to allow Rogue a lot of room to drone up. Like, we saw 5 more drones on the production tab. And he's up about math amount more. So just without having those Hellions out, he's giving Rogue a lot of little advantages here and there. Now the Banshee is going to be on the way. I don't see any Spore Crawlers just yet. No Lair either for detection as the Reaper goes down. The Hellion's going to take a little bit of poking as well. So, you know, it's not a terrible situation right now. I'm not trying to say that, oh, ... has happened, so instantly it's a GG right now. Leave the game, scrub. But I'm a little bit worried here with how late Dream is being. Like, he's not really in a position to do any sort of damage, where it's kind of the opus of the Terran player that you have to get at least a couple drones. Gonna add on those additional ranks, gets rid of one of those overlords, getting detection here and there. But from here, it's kind of just this little bit of a slow power-up as Rogue going to get those Evo Chambers, gets the upgrades started here pretty soon. And yeah, Dream is going to be just like maybe half a second behind on that. No big deal. What is a big deal is that we do see those Queens in position ready to intercept the Banshees coming on in. Looks like Dream is not going to risk it. He wants to keep those alive for later, as that creep spread is getting dangerously close to the middle of the map. He's going to have to clean this up. But Submarine has so many different paths that it's almost impossible to clean up every single corner. Big run by as well. Going to try and pick off some of these Marines and the SCVs, but that will get deflected. Only real damage here is kind of just like indirect. Forcing those SCVs off the line for just a second, slowing down any sort of build order that Dream is going for. As we do see the Armory going to be coming in to make sure that he can try and stay ahead in terms of those upgrades that he's equal on right now. Ooh, big surround here. Attempt from Rogue. Investing quite a few of the links to make it happen. He's got to be careful, though, because he still doesn't have combat shield. It's about 20 seconds from finishing. So any Baneling hit is a one-shot KO. Looks like he does get the pickup there, but loses the Hellions for it. Small little lift off, but once again, just the fact that that creep is so far forward means that you have to go through so much vision. Rogue knows where you are before you even know where you want to go. We do see the siege tank. Going to find a nice little spot to siege up, though. Yeah, you know, he's still pushing out a little bit. Trying to do a bit of a feint attack over here. And thank you, Papa Mitch, for the subscription. You are awesome, my man. Okay, so Dream is pushing out here, just barely skirting off the edge of creep to make sure those banelings aren't going to be as effective. 9 Marines on the production tab. And he's even going to get the upgrades for the tanks, making it a little bit easier for them to break through this line. But Rogue, oh my goodness, he's got that fast hive once again. That's kind of one of the things you can do with just pure Ling Bane. And he's going into lurkers. Oh, here we go. However, Rogue is getting on top of absolutely everything. The third mineral line takes a huge baneling hit, and that means all of these SCVs are going to go down. He did build a couple of additional orbitals, or not orbitals, but command centers to replenish his forces there. But still, 22 workers, down 40 supply. This is a really dicey situation for Dream. Looks like he might just want to try and build up that line once again and turtle his little turtle heart out. And I think that's all he can really do from here. He doesn't really have a conducive fighting force to move out on the map. But here we go. Once again, getting a cancel on the 4th. Trying to bait his way forward, but he doesn't want to fight too far into the siege tank line just yet. That is literally a death sentence for whatever he sends in. Looks like the Marines are going to try and fight what he's got. The blinding cloud is going to blanket the siege tanks. Oh my goodness, it is absolute carnage here as that siege tank line goes down. Rogue extends his lead once again, and we are going to the final game of tonight. Can he finish things out, or can Dream put a little bit more on the board? Looks like we're going to be going into Pillars of Gold for our last game of the night. Win-loss prediction, please, not time-based. Okay. As this one gets going, oh my goodness, this is super duper exciting. I hope you guys are ready for this, because these guys have definitely been pushing out some amazing games tonight. If you want to see more amazing games like this, make sure you check out the Match Reno page for this and other events, because they allow us to give this kind of content to you guys. You guys have earned it with all the support that you've been giving the channel and StarCraft 2 in general. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you so much for everything you guys do. And enough brown nosing, let's introduce these players up here in the top with a couple of SCVs where they should not be. He is, for the last time tonight, Good Game Gaming's Dream. And his opponent down here in the bottom. He represents Dragon Phoenix Gaming, and Zergs across the map flock to his banner. Give it up for Rogue. Oh my goodness. Spawning pool versus 2 ranks. Which one wins? I think we know the answer to that one, but I think these guys should tell us anyway because it is so much fun to watch. The Overlord going to be coming on in. A little bit of a delayed scout on it, but it will get full vision. And I think one thing that he would like to confirm is just the fact that there is only 2 of them, which means that Dream still has to push in, or still has the ability to get the factory in the backfield and macro out of it if this doesn't work completely. But the drones should be pulled here. Probably not, since he did get Ling first. And as these lanes kind of just circle around, waiting for the surround, he's baiting Dream in, saying, hey, you can get that bunker to finish. I don't mind. But here we go. The SCV going to get the repair on in. If he can focus fire down the Lings, maybe try and save this, but it looks like he's actually focus firing down the economy. The bunker goes down. The Ling count, not really very high, but at the end of the day, it is enough to push this back. Dream a little bit late to add the factory. No harass, no mines. That's probably it. But you know what? While he does have the factory in the background here, he is not done with this. Rogue does have a very healthy count of Lings, but they can't really get into position with the surround in this angle. Dream just doing a really good job of kind of kiting back to the edge here. Looks like that bunker definitely will not finish, however. So right now, all Dream wants to do is delay, 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 force an overreaction from Rogue, force him to make more Lings so that he's not droning up behind this. And you know what? Rogue says, I'm going to drone up anyway. You have nothing left in the tank here. You have ceded the map to me now. Look at me. I am the map holder now. Thank you, Kobayashi. We really appreciate it. It's because of you guys that we get to have all of this energy. Now, Dream. He's only just now getting that natural in. Rogue only got about 29 to 23. So, you know, not the biggest of leads, but that is about to explode here in the next couple of minutes. Because he still has all of those links from earlier, he doesn't have to waste anymore for those Hellions. And from here, it's kind of not, I mean, there's nothing really too much else to say about what's going on. Rogue's going to get his third base. The Hellions might be at it. Okay. Oh my god. Dream. What are you doing, my man? He is betting it all on the line with a big Hellbat push. Going to be moving across the map here. Coming to a Zergling hatchery near you. As we have that armory ready to go. The Marine count is still pretty high. How many does he have right now? He's got a full medevacs worth. If this catches Rogue off guard, this is going to be the biggest mind game in existence. Right now, it looks like Rogue is kind of getting ready for either drops or maybe Banshees to come in. He's not expecting this. And I don't know if it necessarily went through his overlords, but here we go. As the Hellbats jump their way up the ramp, the Lings looking to dive on it, but they are not able to get the surround as the Hellbats just way too much. The Queens, very red health. They have no transfused energy left, which means that the drone line is completely exposed. And as they start to fall, it looks like Dream has gotten his revenge. GG is called.